Most recently it was determined that the first major patch of Dragonflight 10.1 is going to have the main narrative campaign by the name of Embers of Neltharion. Now, interestingly enough, in the minor pre-patch 10.0.7, we are going to Forbidden Reach into Neltharion's vaults and private libraries and learning the secrets of the aspect of Earth. There is right there, we discovered his private library where he studied the Titans and the Old Gods. We learned that there might be a fifth Old God, that there could be a hidden continent, and a whole bunch of other real history that was apparently hidden from us. Furthermore, we have underground hints. We learned that not all elementals were imprisoned. We know that there are 4 elemental elders of the Jaradin who are hiding somewhere. We know Iridikron is also going underground. So what is 10.1 going to be about? Let us compile every single hint that we currently have and see what the first major patch of Dragonflight is going to be about. It is literally the 3rd year that Ridge Wallet sent me this thing, and I've been using it pretty much ever since. I haven't used anything else. They've also sent me the key case, which matches everything perfectly, and there's just so many designs you can choose from. The wallet is super useful. You can put cash, you can put up to 12 cards. It's really just great. Now, if you use my code Doron, you can get a really great discount, so make sure to check out my link in the description below and get your own Ridge Wallet or key case. So, for pretty much months at this point, we had known that we might be going somewhere underground in 10.1. Like, we literally learned this months before Dragonflight was even released that there were some data mine maps that were called underground, do not reveal before 10.1. Now, most recently, a few weeks ago, we got even more similar hints that further solidified this theory. However, I would say when we got the 10.0 ending with the Vault of the Incarnates and the Iridikron, and they talked about how he is hiding underground and how we need to reach him, I can say with 90% certainty we are obviously going to go somewhere underground in 10.1. Now, here's the thing, we got the roadmap for Dragonflight for 2023 and know that the patch will be coming out between the spring and the summer, so personally my best bet is that this is going to happen somewhere around May this year. However, I'm really liking the addition of these micro patches that they're doing between, as it would definitely be really boring if we just had to wait 6 months without any single hint or any content whatsoever between the patches. Now, personally, I expected these mini patches to be just kind of flavor content, and they kind of are with introductions of the features such as the trading post. However, unexpectedly, they also seem to include quite a bit of the story, or kind of like story light. I can't say we got anything with 10.0.5, but with 10.0.7 we got a crazy Titan Old God book directly from Neltharion's private library. We are going into Forbidden Reach, his vault. We are more than likely going to learn about how he actually created the Dractyr, why they were really created, and even more interestingly, we got some insane new hints, such as the confirmation of a 5th Old God, the possibility of a new hidden continent, a potential new name for Kalendor that was written out of history, and a bunch of other Old God and elemental hints. It seriously seems like 10.0.7 is not just a flavor patch, but it is a legit prelude to 10.1, and now just a few days ago a brand new thing was data mined, and that is the name of the narrative campaign of the first major patch of Dragonflight. It will be called Embers of Neltharion, and I think that is a pretty huge hint for how the story is going to progress. First of all, the major hint we have for 10.1, as I said, is going to be underground related. This could mean 2 scenarios, either Neltharion or Iridikron related, but personally, I feel like it is going to be both. Iridikron and Neltharion are kind of parallels to each other, with one being elemental while the other is Titan, and both are connected to the deep places of Azeroth, and I'm guessing both of them managed to learn about this hidden thing that no one knew anything about. In order to not repeat myself, you can check out the details in the previous videos, but essentially, the current hints are that when the Titans ordered Azeroth, they weren't exactly all that successful in removing the Old God influence, and they might have had to sweep a few things under the rug and just hide it from everyone, just write it out of any history. Seeing that Neltharion and Iridikron have this access to the depths that pretty much no one has, it is highly likely that they have managed to hide it. Iridikron is said to have worked with some really dark force, and seeing that we learned about this really dark force evil from a Titan affiliated Alexstrasza, their worst enemies are the Old Gods, so it is highly likely that it could be that. Now, in 10.0.7, we learned that Neltharion had a secret lab. There is actually Azerite present for some reason, we still don't really know why, and as you know, this is the blood of the World Soul. There is even a Titan book that has the notes from some sort of an Old God affiliated being that was more than likely some sort of an advisor to Neltharion, which is obviously going to be a huge story point for Dragonflight. So it is without a doubt that Neltharion has been deep in learning what actually happened back in the day. Now, I have an entire video on this theory, but there is a possibility that they may be setting up Neltharion as the original Illidan, like the bad guy, but sort of the good guy as well. Sort of the guy that realized that he's stuck between a rock and a hard place with the old gods on one side, the Titans on the other, and he doesn't really have free will to do anything. So he may have tried to leverage both magics to break free from this mechanism, but ultimately he succumbed to the old gods, as all of you know. I'm guessing we're going to be learning all about that in 10.1. 10.0.7, the way it is set up with Forbidden Reach and the recent hints, seems to be kind of the setup for the first major patch, so we may be finding books like this, learning a bit about Neltharion's true motives, the nature of the Titans, the nature of the old gods, and their goals. But personally, I think the first major culmination is going to happen in 10.1. Seeing that the campaign itself is named the Embers of Neltharion, it's probably either going to be like the initial spark that created a fire that turned him into Deathwing, or the remnants of that fire, sort of the legacy his transformation left, the legacies that still shrouds the Dragon Isles up to this day. Now, the patch itself is set to contain a new zone and a new raid as well. With all the previous hints, I'm expecting this new zone is going to be an underground one, possibly access to Forbidden Reach, as we will be going there in 10.0.7. This could be a hidden Titan vault, or it could be a fifth old god's prison. Furthermore, it could realistically be a new type of a deep hole. Most recently, we learned from the new document that said that the Titans never managed to contain the elementals in the elemental plane, as we had known by history. At least they haven't managed to contain them fully. Now, with recent Jarden info who are elementals, we learned that they apparently have 4 elders that hid themselves somewhere underground after they lost the battle with Neltharion and the Black Dragons. Seeing that the elementals even roam the world in the first place and could even fight dragons means that they weren't really all imprisoned during the Titan Old God War. Even more interestingly, we also learned that the Jaradin are searching for them as we speak. So, in my opinion, this could definitely be related to that as well. In fact, I think this is the highest possibility out of all of them. We also learned that in the past, the Ridicon had allied himself with the elementals and the Jaradin, so I could definitely see this 10.1 patch being related to elementals with slight hints of the old gods, while the old god lore will culminate in 10.2, which is probably going to be the major patch because it should come out sometime maybe before BlizzCon, when they're probably going to announce the next expansion, as they're already working on it. So we will definitely get to know what is going on with the story before we learn what is going to be coming next. Furthermore, some people are speculating that we might see the return of Deathwing. Personally, I don't really see it happening. However, there is actually a pretty decent lore setup for a Void Deathwing and him being used by the old gods as a weapon. As we had recently learned from Shadowlands, only mortals really go to that afterlife, and all the other cosmological forces have their own afterlives. When beings are infused, like mortals are infused with a certain energy, they end up going to that energy's afterlife. For example, the Titan Argus was infused by that magic, so he went to the Shadowlands, but he wasn't supposed to go to the Shadowlands. Seeing the Deathwing by his end was pretty much all void, it is very likely that he's in the void afterlife, and I could totally see the Warlords or the old gods using him as a weapon in the future. However, I really don't see that happening as soon as 10.1. My thoughts are that the first patch is going to be mainly focused on the Ridicon and the elementals, and this Embers of Neltharion is going to mean like us following the trails of Neltharion, figuring out the clues, getting into why he eventually turned into Deathwing, discovering more books from his libraries, possibly more laboratories, and maybe even this hidden elemental zone. Most importantly, we might learn why exactly is the blood of the World Soul Azerite present in Neltharion's walls, and how did he even manage to access it? Did he find a way to extract it? Did he find it himself? Did he wound the World Soul? Or is this place some sort of a place of power where Azerite can easily be accessed? All of that will of course be answered quite soon, as I'm guessing we might be going into 10.1 PTR in the very near future. Thank you for watching. Check out what could be the next expansion of the Dragonflight by clicking on the screen, and check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos of real world history. See you next time.